So what is one thing that you've learned from launching ZUUM?
What have I learned launching ZUUM? First off, you got to be agile. You got to build technology that's fresh, new age. That's why I've been programming our software on this device right here. So the one thing I've learned, I guess, being a part of ZUUM over the last few years is that first and foremost, it's a marathon. It's like a marathon that you're continuously sprinting, and you can't, you have to be impatient in a lot of ways in the short term, but patient in the long term. Know that you have a long-term plan or a long-term vision, but if you're not relentless and you're not continuously trying to move as fast as you can and just get things done, you're gonna fall behind. It's a race at the end of the day, and it's about executing and not being afraid to fail as you go through and experiment and learn new things, because a lot of the things we build as startups are disruptive and new and unknown, and so it takes that mentality or mindset in the team, and it's a lot of times it comes down to the founding team. Are the founding team good complements of each other? Do they complete each other in a lot of ways? As funny as it sounds, like almost like a marriage. You know, you want to have that yin and yang in personalities where one person is strong and the other person isn't. They can complement each other. And in most companies, you have somebody that's kind of the bulldozer, the one that's doesn't take no for an answer, and you have next to that person a person who's a lot of times the thinker, the one that's mitigating risk and trying to make sure we don't hit as many landmines as we're going through this journey or this marathon. So I think that's one big lesson that I've learned. Other lessons that I've learned along the way is that, you know, as you're scaling up and you're going from a family to a village to a town to a city, you know, we've grown to about 100 people, and over the past few years we've had a lot of people that have come and gone into our organization, and it's really about bringing in the people with the right mindset that are on that Operation One Heartbeat. They believe in that vision that you've laid out, and they want to be a part of it. I mean, that's one of the key ingredients, I think, having those people in there. And I think the rest is, if you have the right people, the right DNA in your company, you have the right process, the right tools, and you understand in startups it's all about experimentation and moving fast, and build that culture within your team, you may be able to disrupt some things.
So what are 5 lessons you've learned building this company?
Only 5? I'd say I've learned a million lessons. For me, I always had big admirations and big dreams, so I wanted to achieve big things. And by doing that, essentially, a lot of people doubted, and it really challenges your perception on how you want to move forward. But for me, I guess the number one lesson I've learned is once you have an idea or an ambition, to stick to it, and then to be prolific. And by prolific, I mean like every day, keep preaching the same thing and staying consistent. As I said, fundraising is super important. When people feel that you're passionate about something and you really believe in it and you're prolific, eventually you'll get the funding to achieve your ideas. Another lesson I've learned in the past 5 years is, of course, I like to get my hands on everything and try to get the ball moving to the 70-yard line and then ask for people for help. But essentially, if you ever want to scale a company, you cannot do it alone. Over the past 5 years, when I look back, the way I engage with people and how I challenge people, it's become a lot softer, because I realized that you need to appreciate people more and more every day on a continual basis. So in the very beginning, when I started ZUUM, I wrote out all these issues I have with myself. And to make it a little personal, I was always like that overachiever and I didn't listen well. So what I did is I wrote all my faults and transferred them into paradigms, and then wrote those paradigms as if I've already achieved them. For example, one of my paradigms and sentences are affirmations that I would say daily 3 times a day for the first 3 years of my adventure with ZUUM was that I am a great listener. I talk to my customers and my employees not about their problems or their solutions, but about the process I follow to drive ROI to my mission. And by talking a lot about your process, you don't come off across to people as a teacher, and you come off as a better listener. Me on the other side, I have a lot of high energy and I'm a good speaker. And I don't know if I'm like an eloquent speaker, but when I speak, people say that there's energy, passion behind it. And I've had a lot of industry knowledge. So those 3 things couple or triple into a really good synergy. But essentially, if people are listening to this video for advice, it's like, find out what you're missing and practice on that other side. So for me, my energy is natural. My passion is natural. I focused on the stuff that makes me more refined as far as being coachable, listening to people, making sure that when I'm being a football coach with my employees, essentially I'm saying it in a way that I'm delivering 1, 2, 3 compliments and then asking them how we can get better. But ultimately, if we're looking at a person that has every attribute and how they can succeed, or what I've learned in the past 5 years, the things that really make you successful is making sure that you can follow through, you're prolific, you have oodles of energy. Energy is the most important thing that wakes you up in the morning. Energy can fake it to make it past things that are impossible. And ultimately, if you have that energy, then you can succeed. But at the same time, one thing that I've done in the past 5 years is I've built a good mastermind of really experienced people. If you look at ZUUM, we have 8 corporations invested into our company. And you can be sure that the senior vice presidents, CEOs, and executive team of those companies are my mentors. And I listen to them on a weekly basis, and they can take any punch at me as they want. Another thing that I've always had that has gotten better over the past 5 years, and it's a thing of practice, is the ability to reset. When you start a company or start dating someone or anything, a lot of weird, bad things are going to come, and you have to look at the glass half full instead of empty and have the ability to reset.